This is our Forex blog for May 21st, 2014, and I'd like to show you a couple of the best ways of using our software to find the best trading opportunities and make money trading. These are our currency indexes, which let you see visually what each individual currency is doing. The dollar, it's trending down, then it goes back above its hourly moving average and has an explosive move up. The euro was in an uptrend and it broke down underneath its hourly. And every time you get some kind of a bounce off the hourly and then it breaks down, it's much more likely to continue. So at 430 right here, it's very likely to go down. You can see the yen is very strong at that time, so you would sell the euro yen. It's that simple. Let's bring up a chart of the euro yen, and it doesn't matter what time frame you look at, whether it's various minute-based charts or range charts or tick charts or whatever. You can see at 4 o'clock right here, it went down, and then the next little pullback, it went down again. Let's take a look at a 5-hour chart. These show you 5 pips per bar charts, and they tend to find much higher probability and lower risk trades. So coming up to 4 o'clock, you go short right here. Here's your risk. Oops. Here's your risk. That's your potential reward. You go short again on the next pullback. You can see that win is significantly bigger than the risk you put on. And that's the key to trading. Small losses, big wins. Before I show more examples using our currency indexes, let me just show you the progress we have with our trading systems. They're absolutely phenomenal. There's close to 190 different very advanced trade patterns in here. Some of them are trendline based, GAN based, fib retracements, fib targets. We have 45 different areas of support resistance. We have head and shoulder patterns right here. Notice the market made a lower low, comes back up, comes down. Perfect head and shoulder pattern. That's what this one is. I just put that in there today. They're relatively rare when they're this perfect. But nonetheless, when I do see a perfect head and shoulders pattern, I make sure our software and signals pick it up because it is a very high probability trade, and you can see you're risking this amount to make this amount. And anytime you regularly have 2 to 3 or 4 times bigger win than risk, and you're right over half the time, you're going to have very nice results. You can see this one right here led to a very significant profit. Here's your risk on this one. We would have got stopped out with a very tiny loss. And a lot of times the initial risk does not equal the ultimate loss when the trades don't work. Here you have a very, pretty much break-even trade. You have a very small risk here that got you all the way into that trade here. And then what's really interesting is we can pick up the trend lines. And here is the previous swing low, and here is the previous swing low. And we know exactly where the trend line is, and that's why this particular trade happened. And unfortunately, one of our other patterns that usually works gave a sell signal error. Otherwise, it would have, made a little bit more. But the win on this trade counteracted the loss here. Then you have a small loss. This got that back plus some. And we have a big win here, and most of the trades, kind of counteract each other. That's the euro dollar. Here's the pound dollar. Just as a brief review of how well our trading systems are. And again, look at how big some of the wins are versus the risk. Here's where you get in, and here is how much you made. It's 3 to 4 times bigger than what your risk is. Here's your risk, here's your reward, here's your risk, here's your reward. So it's that one pretty much balanced out. You had a very, very tiny 2 or 3 pip win here. It flipped and went short. And you made slightly more than what your risk is. You lost a very tiny amount here, pretty much broke even here, had a small win here, and pretty much a break even here. So you're left at the end of the day, most of the tiny wins and tiny losses cancel each other out, and you have very big wins on these trend trades. And in case you want to see how this did yesterday, because I don't think I showed it yesterday in yesterday's blog, very small loss. You got a very small win here. Here's your risk, here's your reward, here's your risk, and you got stopped out of this with a very tiny loss. So, you know, a lot of the trades that don't work, what you actually lose is less than what the initial risk is. And frequently on the winning trades, what you think you might win is, which is 1.5 to 2 times what your risk is, you make 4, 5, 6 times. And again, that's the key to trading. When the markets really do trend, you have these huge wins, and those eat up all the tiny little losses. Even if you have 4 or 5 in a row, one nice win can totally eat that up. So again, I'll do one more example of the currency indexes. Basically, we're looking to buy a strong currency versus weak, or sell a weak currency versus strong. So here we have the Swiss that kind of is just gradually going up. It breaks the hourly right here at 4. You want to trade that against a currency that's pretty strong at the time. And you can see the pound had just has been kind of going sideways, broke down, came back above the hourly. It's right near the highs of the last 12 hours. So that would be a decent one to be looking to buy against the weak Swiss. The pound Swiss coming up around 4 is very high probability trade. And you know, here's 430, here's probably 4. Trend line broke. Yeah, really the first trade, I'm not exactly sure where 4 is. Let's click on the chart here. 4 is closer to right around here. So you're watching this chart around 4. That's 403, 401. Yeah, here we go. So you can see, you know, the currency index would have you watching this, and you would see that the trend line there got broken. If you're a very conservative trader, you might wait for, a lot of times they kind of chop around near the trend line. Sometimes they go up a few bars and come down and test it from above, and if it holds the trend line from above, it will have a big move. But regardless, however you decide to trade this, your risk is usually less than 10 pips. And you can see in this instance that it was just astronomical, big win compared to the risk. Risk, small risk, big reward. And if you miss the first trade, what's nice about these, when one currency is super weak and another one super strong, you have a pullback a little later, and then you get into that trade, and you have, you know, again, another high probability trade. And you also have the fib targets to use to help you find where your profit is. And you know, even before you pull the trigger on this trade, that this is a likely profit target, and this is your risk, and this is your reward, and it went right to that profit target, almost to the pip, maybe a pip over. And you can see you made 10, 20, 30 pips while risking less than 10. So that's more than the 3-to-1 win versus risk. And that's the key to trading, and that's why our software works. The numerous statistical tools that help you find which currencies are most likely to trend. And there's a slew of other tools that tell you when the market's gone up or down too much. And we also have Gann angles, automatic trend lines, and of course our trading signals that, you know, there's almost 200 of them now, and they're all have probably 10 to 30 different rules in them with various indicators. Most humans wouldn't be able to watch 75 different indicators with various settings. I mean, a lot of them use the same indicator with different settings for different types of trades. So that's a review of how our software did today. Like most days where the market has a lot of different currencies that are really moving, whether you use our trade signals or you just use our currency indexes or currency meter, it really helps you find much bigger wins than losses. And that's really the only secret to trading, and it's why our software works.